Imagine a world draped in shadows, a world where the very essence of hope and freedom is eclipsed by an overwhelming darkness. A world where the swastika casts its sinister mark across continents, its presence a constant reminder of oppression and fear. The streets are lined with propaganda, each poster a chilling testament to the regime's iron grip on society. This is not a world of fiction, but a chilling possibility, a terrifying what if, where Adolf Hitler and his Nazi regime triumphed in World War II. Imagine the parades, not of celebration, but of dominance, where every step echoes the loss of countless lives and the suppression of countless voices. The year is 1945, but instead of jubilant celebrations of victory, a chilling silence hangs in the air. The streets, once filled with the sounds of liberation, are now eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once thrived there. The Allied forces lie in ruins, their hopes crushed under the weight of Nazi domination. The cities, once symbols of resilience and strength, are now mere shadows of their former selves, reduced to rubble and despair. The world cowers before the might of the Third Reich, forever trapped in a dystopian nightmare. Civilians live in constant fear, their every move watched, their every word monitored. The sense of community and trust has been replaced by suspicion and dread. This is not a world we want to imagine, yet it serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of freedom and the ever-present threat of tyranny. The concentration camps stand as horrific monuments to the regime's cruelty, a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. It is a stark warning from the annals of history, a chilling testament to the devastation wrought by unchecked ambition and hate. The landscapes, once lush and vibrant, are now scarred by the ravages of war, a visual representation of the regime's destructive path. By delving into this unsettling alternate reality, we gain a deeper understanding of the stakes of World War II and the importance of safeguarding peace and liberty. The battles fought were not just for territory, but for the very soul of humanity, a fight to preserve the ideals of freedom and justice. Let us peel back the layers of history and explore the terrifying possibilities of a world where Hitler won. Through this exploration, we are reminded of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. The lessons of the past serve as a beacon, guiding us towards a future where such tyranny is never allowed to take root again. As we reflect on this dark chapter, let us also celebrate the progress we have made. The world today, though not without its challenges, stands as a testament to the triumph of unity and the enduring strength of the human spirit. It is a reminder that, even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope, a chance for a brighter tomorrow. Monuments and memorials around the world stand as silent sentinels, honoring the sacrifices made and the lives lost. They remind us of the cost of freedom and the importance of vigilance in preserving it. As we pay our respects, we are reminded of our collective responsibility to ensure that such darkness never again shrouds our world. In the spirit of global cooperation and unity, we must continue to strive for a world where peace and liberty are not just ideals, but realities. By learning from the past and working together, we can build a future where the shadows of tyranny are forever banished and the light of freedom shines brightly for all. To comprehend the terrifying reality of a Nazi victory, we must first analyze the factors that contributed to their initial successes. At the heart of their early triumphs lay the Blitzkrieg, a military tactic that took the world by storm. This lightning war relied on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. German panzer divisions, spearheaded by tanks and supported by Luftwaffe air power, tore through enemy lines with terrifying efficiency. Poland, the first victim of Hitler's aggression, crumbled under the weight of the Blitzkrieg in a matter of weeks. Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France soon followed suit, their defenses shattered by the relentless German onslaught. The speed and ferocity of these early victories sent shockwaves throughout the world. They revealed the terrifying potential of the Wehrmacht, the Nazi war machine, and instilled a deep sense of fear in the hearts of those who dared oppose them. To achieve total domination, Hitler needed to eliminate his two most formidable foes, the Soviet Union and Great Britain. These two nations, with their vast resources and resilient populations, stood as the primary obstacles to Nazi hegemony in Europe. The Soviet Union, with its immense landmass and industrial capacity, and Great Britain, with its powerful navy and strategic position, were formidable adversaries. While history tells us that both nations valiantly resisted the Nazi onslaught, our alternate timeline paints a grimmer picture. In this scenario, the combined might of the Axis powers proves too much for the Allies. The relentless pressure from the German military machine, coupled with strategic missteps and unfortunate circumstances, leads to a catastrophic outcome for both the Soviet Union and Great Britain. Imagine a scenario where Operation Barbarossa, the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union, succeeded. The meticulously planned Blitzkrieg tactics, combined with the element of surprise, allow the Wehrmacht to penetrate deep into Soviet territory. The Red Army, caught off guard and unprepared for the ferocity of the German assault, crumbles under the pressure. Instead of being bogged down in a protracted war of attrition, the Wehrmacht captures Moscow, crippling the Soviet war machine and forcing a humiliating surrender. The fall of Moscow sends shockwaves throughout the Soviet Union, leading to widespread demoralization and the collapse of organized resistance. Stalin, faced with the complete disintegration of his forces, is left with no choice but to negotiate terms of surrender. With the Eastern Front secured, Hitler could then turn his full attention towards Great Britain. The defeat of the Soviet Union frees up vast resources and manpower, allowing the Nazis to intensify their efforts against the British. The Luftwaffe, now bolstered by additional aircraft and experienced pilots, launches an even more devastating bombing campaign against British cities and military installations. Despite their valiant defense in the Battle of Britain, the relentless Luftwaffe bombing campaign, coupled with a successful invasion across the English Channel, overwhelms the island nation. The Royal Air Force, stretched to its limits and unable to sustain the relentless onslaught, is gradually worn down. The British people, enduring months of continuous bombing, begin to lose hope as their cities are reduced to rubble. The British government is forced to capitulate, surrendering their fleet and relinquishing control of their colonial possessions. The once mighty British Empire, now a shadow of its former self, is dismantled piece by piece. The surrender marks the end of British resistance and the beginning of a new era of Nazi dominance in Europe. The last bastion of resistance in Europe falls, leaving the continent firmly under the iron grip of the Third Reich. With both the Soviet Union and Great Britain defeated, Hitler's vision of a Nazi-dominated Europe becomes a reality. The consequences of this alternate history are profound, reshaping the geopolitical landscape and altering the course of world events for generations to come. With Europe firmly under his control, Hitler sets his sights on a new target, the United States of America. The Führer, emboldened by his swift and brutal conquests across the European continent, now dreams of extending his dominion across the Atlantic. His vision is not just of a Europe under Nazi rule, but a world reshaped in his image, with the United States as the next domino to fall. Operation Sea Lion, the long-planned invasion of America, is put into motion. This audacious plan, initially conceived as a means to subdue Britain, is now repurposed for an even grander ambition. The meticulous planning involves not just military might, but psychological warfare aimed at breaking the American spirit. Utilizing captured British ships and a massive fleet of U-boats, the Nazis launch a surprise attack on the East Coast. The Atlantic, once a barrier, now becomes a conduit for Hitler's war machine. The U-boats, silent and deadly, pave the way for the larger fleet, creating a corridor of destruction. New York City, Washington, D.C., and other major cities are bombarded from the sea and air, sowing chaos and destruction. The skyline of New York, a symbol of American prosperity and resilience, is marred by explosions. Washington, D.C., the heart of American democracy, is engulfed in flames, a stark reminder of the vulnerability of even the most powerful nations. Despite fierce resistance from American forces, the sheer might of the Nazi war machine proves too overwhelming. American soldiers, brave and determined, fight valiantly, but they are outmatched by the relentless and well-coordinated Nazi assault. The streets of American cities become battlegrounds, with tanks rolling over once peaceful neighborhoods. Weakened by years of appeasement and caught off guard by the audacity of the attack, the United States is gradually worn down. The American government, having underestimated the reach and resolve of the Nazi regime, scrambles to mount an effective defense. The political leadership, once confident in the safety provided by the Atlantic, now faces the grim reality of war on their doorstep. The fall of major cities, coupled with the threat of a full-scale land invasion, forces the American government to the negotiating table. The once unthinkable scenario of an American surrender becomes a stark reality. The negotiations are tense, with the American representatives grappling with the enormity of their situation and the harsh terms being imposed. A peace treaty, heavily favoring the Axis powers, is signed, marking the end of the war and the beginning of a new world order. The treaty, a document of humiliation for the United States, cements the dominance of the Axis powers. Celebrations erupt in Berlin and Tokyo as the world witnesses the dawn of a new era, one shaped by the ambitions of a dictator who dared to dream beyond the confines of his continent.